So yeah, I thought I'd have you in and just get a general state of the union. Where are we at with the Ontario Landlord Tenant Board? Where are we at with Ontario real estate, with tenant law? Just get an update from you because you're in the trenches every single day, exclusively representing landlords at the Ontario Landlord Tenant Board and very privy to the challenges that Ontario landlords are going through on an ongoing basis.
Good timing to have this discussion because there's been some significant improvements at the board. We're seeing like a good decrease in the wait times for hearings.
Wow.
Based on what it was before. You remember what it was before. It was
disaster.
Really bad.
The general consensus is that it's broken. And I might be a contributor to that consensus.
Yeah, I can see why people think that. I mean, but when you're there every day, like if you're just doing one hearing every once in a while and you're seeing kind of like what it looks like just from that captured moment, I can see why you would think that. But honestly, when you're there all the time, every day, and you're seeing like, there are some frustrating moments. There's no getting around that. There are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's a lot of improvements being made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. The wait times have reduced. I mean, before, I think the last time we talked, it was like 8 to 10 months or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it had clicked down to maybe 6-7 months the last time at least you and I talked.
Yeah.
So what is it now?
Going like 3 or 4.
Wow. To get a hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and then the return time on the orders has improved too, because that was the other challenge. We were not only waiting a long time to get a hearing date, we were waiting like beyond a 30-day period for a lot of files to get the orders issued.
Okay.
But now we're seeing them come out within like a few weeks.
So hearing happens and then you would have to wait just to get the order from that hearing.
Yeah.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And now it's a couple weeks?
Yeah. Now we're seeing like we're actually, well, I mean, for me, there's a significant volume. So I guess I can gauge it fairly well based on our volume and what we're seeing. And I do see the improvements. I do.
Okay. So that's all good news.
Yeah.
So 3 to 4 months to get a hearing and then
around there. Yeah.
around there. And then approximately 2 weeks to get the order.
Yeah.
So from a tenant not paying rent, and if you follow the process, take all the right steps, you attend Kelly Hawk's Know Your Landlord Rights class, and you do everything in proper order.
Hopefully,
and you should be. And if you're not a Rockstar member yet, here's your opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
So you do all the right steps. You can get them out within 4 months, let's say tops for a hearing, 2 weeks to get the order, and then...
Right. They're going to have like if it's a standard time period, it's 11 days after the order is issued. So then on the 12th day, if they haven't voluntarily vacated, then you would have to take the next step to hire the sheriff to, attend the property and remove them from the property. That process fluctuates. It's sometimes a couple of weeks, depending on the city and the volume they have at the time. Like Toronto's a bit behind right now. So
that's a separate municipal issue.
That's outside
with
of
the sheriff department.
Yeah. It's actually at the enforcement office of small claims courts.
Oh, okay. Which are municipal based?
Yeah. So all the different ones have different timelines. Hamilton's pretty quick.
Cities or regions?
It's regions.
Okay.
So
like
whatever
Region of
the
Peel,
jurisdiction is for
Halton.
Yeah, whatever the court jurisdiction is for your area.
Hey everyone, I wanted to quickly share my personal journey with the Rockstar Inner Circle. I joined Rockstar when I was 23 years old because I wanted to learn how to invest in real estate and I was looking for the right people to guide me. What I didn't expect was how much more the Inner Circle would give me. It's not just about investing, it's about being a part of a community that is genuinely invested in each other's success. I've learned so much here, from real estate strategies to understanding the economy, personal finance, and how the whole money system works. I've gained the knowledge to build my own business, create my own assets, and leverage the biggest trends in the world. But more than that, it's the growth mindset and personal development that have transformed how I approach life and investing. Having a community of like-minded people to share wisdom, experiences, and lessons with has been invaluable. From finding tenants and growing a real estate portfolio to designing the life you want, it's been a game changer. Being part of the Inner Circle has completely changed my perspective on money and life. The insights I've gained have helped me make smarter decisions, and I'm now way more confident in my financial future. If you're ready to level up your investing, mindset, and your life, I can't recommend the Rockstar Inner Circle enough. It's not just a membership, it's an opportunity to design the life you want. Thanks for letting me share this with you, and I hope to see you in the Inner Circle soon. If you're curious to learn more, feel free to check out rockstarinnercircle.com/getstarted for free resources and see if it's the right fit for you. Now back to the show. Okay.
Right?
So 2 to 4 weeks to get a sheriff?
I would say 2 is really not probably something you're going to get. I would say maybe like 3 at the best to sometimes 6.
3 to 6. Okay.
Depending on which city you're going. You're
okay,
getting.
so 4, 2, and then 3 to 6.
Yeah. I did hear that there's a shortage of enforcement officers like sheriffs, and they're actually moving from different regions to try to help with the volume. Like they're sending them from different regions where they would normally, like if it was St. Catharines, they would normally cover like the Niagara area. But now they're actually sending them to like the more bigger cities like Brampton and Toronto to help with the volume.
Okay,
So
so
that
this
they
is
can
like
meet
worst
timelines.
case scenario. A tenant stops paying you rent and they really drag it out to the point where they're getting literally removed from the property by another human being. So what are you actually seeing generally happen? Let's say with a non-payment of rent or just some order of eviction. What do you generally see?
Yeah, so I think like the thing is that when people go to a hearing for the first time and they don't understand what's available at the hearing, it's almost all too much unless you have someone who's told you what's going to happen. Like you log in, there's a moderator, they're taking attendance. You've done this, right?
Yeah.
Right? So you know, and then they're asking unrepresented parties like, do you want mediation? What is that? Am I not going to have my hearing? Because what they have is a whole a group of mediators that go from hearing room to hearing room if someone signs up for mediation, and they try to assist the parties to resolve, right? Before having to go to the hearing. And when you've got like maybe 15 to 20 matters scheduled in the same hearing block, it sometimes makes sense to utilize your time to do that. And obviously it's a case by case basis, because when there's like no possibility of reaching some kind of an agreement with someone, then you're just going straight to the hearing, right? But if there are situations where you think that there's a possibility that the mediation might even result in what you're trying to achieve, which is end of the tenancy, it just gives parties a little bit more control over the timeline if they're making the decision themselves, right?
Okay.
So that's an option. Then they're saying to tenants, do you want free duty counsel, which is legal advice before the hearing? And a lot of them say yes. And that's okay. To me, you should be prepared before you attend the hearing. In some cases, I want them to get the legal advice first, because then they're going to know that it might be a better thing to make a deal with me than go to the adjudicator, especially when there's situations where there's children or there's older people or people with mobility issues, and they're not going to be prepared for what's coming eventually, which is termination. But if they reach an agreement where we've chosen a day that you're going to be out, then they can plan instead of the sheriff knocking on the door and saying, you have 5 minutes, grab a bag.
So the tenant legal duty advisors will kind of tell people like, look, you don't really have a case here. You haven't paid rent. Like you will be evicted if you don't come up with the payment or a payment plan or mediate.
Yeah, I think what they do is obviously we're not privy to those conversations that they're having, but I think that what they try to do is look for ways that the tenant may be able to present something that is appealing to either the board to use their discretionary power to enforce like a repayment plan or something. I think the purpose of most meetings with the tenant duty council is to see if they can somehow save the tenancy for the tenant.